Hi y'all, it's Andrea over at Sewspire.com. I hope this video finds you well and looking forward to finishing our small duffel handbag. Last week we crafted the exterior, which came together like this, and today we are going to assemble the interior as well as the zipper top closure. And so the interior is crafted from body panels which measure 7 by 12, and you'll need 3 of those. One is the base, one's the front, one's the rear. And then you're going to need 2 side panels that are 7 inches tall by 6 inches wide, and 4 pocket panels which are 5 by 12. So I have assembled one of the pocket panels here so you can see what that looks like. And I have attached the pocket, and then it's somewhat difficult to see how I divided that, but I put a narrow channel for a pen and then 2 narrow pockets for lip gloss and smaller items like that, and then one that's a little wider for the cell phone. And you are welcome, of course, to divide your pocket panels any way you like. That's one of the best parts of making your own bag. So to begin crafting the pocket panel, you're going to position those 2 pieces of cotton fabric right sides facing and stitch across that top edge, and then open that up and then fold that right in half and press again. So then after you have pressed your pocket, just go ahead and stitch across that top edge to secure both layers of fabric, and then position that pocket right on top of one of your front or rear panels. You're going to align the raw edges of the pocket with the base of that panel, and then just decide how you would like to divide the pocket and go ahead and stitch vertically to do so. For this one, I think I'm going to do a 3-way divided pocket, and as backup for the cell phone, I want to make sure that that center pocket will hold the phone. So I got a little visual there of about how wide that is. And that fits perfectly. That makes me happy. And then just like we assembled the exterior, you're going to position the side panels on the right and the left hand sides of one of those pocket panels. And then you're going to position the base panel on top of the opposite pocket panel. And so with the base panel, you'll stitch across the base, and with the side panels, you'll stitch across the sides. And trim those seams down to 1/4 inch. Once you have verified that you've captured all of those layers, and then open up your tri-folding panel on your work surface there, and open up your base panel and align the base of that base with the base of your tri-fold panel, and go ahead and stitch seam to seam. And then you should have your big T, and go ahead and trim away that excess on the last seam. And then you will take your side panels and align those with the sides of the opposite pocket panel and stitch from the top to the seam. Repeat that process for the opposite side. And then once you're sure everything is securely attached, go ahead and trim away the excess. And then you just need to align the base of the side with the side of the base by pulling that nice and taut and stitching seam to seam. And then trim away the excess from the bottom sides. And now you're going to fold the top edge of that interior over approximately 1/2 inch. And you can press that if you like. And then you can bring back over that exterior and fit the interior inside of there. I like to begin at the sides, and I just reuse those same pins that are in the exterior and align the side seams first, and then make my way all the way around. And then that's what it should look like once you have your interior fitted inside of there. And it just takes a little bit of finagling. You just smooth that around, and that quilt batting will grip on both sides, and then you can get that situated so the interior fits nicely. And so now we're going to set this all aside and begin working on the zipper gusset, which will finish off this bag beautifully. And so this time I'm going to try working with some of this zipper by the yard. This was a gift from one of my Sewspire patrons, and it is an absolutely beautiful zipper with the double pull there, and I love how those pulls dangle like that. So this will be my first time working with the zipper by the yard, and this is approximately 20 inches long. I'm not going to need that much zipper, so I'm going to have to trim the excess off the ends of this. My zipper frame or zipper gusset is going to be crafted from 2 pieces of fabric that are 12 inches in length and 9 inches tall. And I'm going to fold those in half, right sides facing, and then stitch down the short edges. And then I'm going to take those panels and turn them right sides out, poke out those corners, press them very well, and turn that top edge inward approximately 1/4 inch and press. And that's what your panels should look like after you have pressed. So it's basically is finished on all 4 sides. There is this one open edge here. So you're going to use that folded edge to position the panel on your zipper. And I think standard zipper size would be 18 inches if you're shopping. I don't think you're going to need 20 inches for this project, but you're going to be positioning that folded edge right at center with your zipper. And don't get too close to the zipper teeth, or your zipper may get caught in the fabric. So once you get that pinned, go ahead and test. Just be careful if you're using this kind of zipper not to zip your pulls right off. And then once you're satisfied with how that functions, go ahead and run 2 rows of stitching down each side to secure this zipper frame to the zipper tape. And then that's what it looks like on the front and the back with the zipper attached. And then I like to use my Arteza fabric markers and come back in and just color over that thread so that it blends in with the zipper. It's not that big of a deal, but I just don't like to see it. And so these fabric markers are absolutely awesome for color matching your thread to your materials. And then you can see how much better that looks. A lot better, right? Okay, so now the next step is for me to even up the ends of this zipper here, and they are pretty darn even. Now I just want to sew some fun little tabs to hide the raw edges of that. And so I'm gonna cut these approximately 6 inches long by 4 inches wide. And then I press those very similar to how I create the straps, but I began by pressing over the 6-inch top and bottom edge, approximately 3/4 of an inch, and then I fashion them in the same way that I create the straps. And so this creates a nice long finished piece at which I'm going to be able to sandwich that zipper inside of there. And so I think I'm going to put that raw edge of that zipper tape in almost 3/4 of the length of that, and then fold over one edge and then bring over the opposite edge there and pin that all in place so I know there's no way that zipper is getting out of there. And you just want to make sure to go ahead and tuck in any edges that may be poking out there. If you need to, you can come back in and trim those away too, so that you don't see them by just trimming them at a little angle like that. And then you're going to position that little tab on the ends of your zipper and go ahead and stitch down the long edges across that base and up the opposite long edge. Depending upon what kind of zipper you have, you may not be able to sew over the teeth. If you can, go ahead. If not, just stop short of there, run a row of stitching forwards and backwards, and that'll be just fine. You also have the option of putting a dab of fabric glue in there as well. So you're going to do that for both ends. And this is what your zipper panel should now look like. It's really nicely finished. Everything is encased there. And so you want to bring back over your bag. And you have a couple options. You could install a recessed zipper by tucking this finished panel down inside of there at whatever height you like. You can just align it right nice and even with that top edge, which is what I suggest. Or you can tuck this unstitched edge down in between the interior and the exterior layers, and that will give you a finely finished look there. If that's the case, you have the option of untucking those edges, because the raw edges won't matter much if you're tucking them in between the interior and the exterior. You just need to make sure that you get everything nice and even. So once I'm satisfied with how that looks on the top, I pin the edges, and then I unzip and pin at the center. And then you repeat that process for the other side. And the reason, if you're curious, that I suggest you use the recess zipper and push everything in is because that's going to allow you to align all of those edges, and you'll be able to actually see what you're doing. With this way here, you're really going to have to be very comfortable with your machine and your fabric and kind of intuitively know that all those edges are aligned. So I think this option here is easier for the beginner. If you are a more advanced bag maker, then this tucking in between the layers offers a very clean finished look. So I just wanted to give you all two possible options with this zipper. The other drawback too with doing it like this is it does take a little bit more finagling to make certain that you have those panels even. And I almost always have to come back in and readjust. Okay, and then once you're happy with how your zipper panel is positioned there on the bag, you can go ahead and remove your machine deck and stitch all the way around the edge of the bag. Ideally, you're going to be stitching the handles in place as well. I realize that is a lot to ask of the average machine. So if you feel like your machine cannot handle that much fabric, go ahead and drop the handles and attach the zipper first, and then you can come back in and attach those handles, perhaps a little lower down so you're not battling so much fabric. So much fun. Oh my gosh, this is fun. Cute, cute, cute. Okay, so now the bag is largely complete. You have a couple options here at the side. I really like the idea of leaving these long tails flexible on this bag because it's going to allow you to open that all the way up. But for those of you that need a little bit more security on the sides, you have a couple options here. The first of which would be to install a rivet or a snap. And so you have some excess at the end of this, and you would install that right here on the edge of the pocket, and then that will pull that zipper pull closer to the edge and hold those sides closed for you. Another option is for you to stitch all the way across there if you really would like to have that complete security there. That's one option for you. And then another great option if you have a snap press is to install little side snaps there, and then that will draw in the edges of the bag. I personally don't mind it being open at all, and then I would tuck my little zipper ends into the pocket like that, or attach the snaps at the side. So let me know what you think and how you are going to finish the sides of the bag. But overall, it's a darling design. Like with all of my projects, I encourage you to customize it to suit your needs. I can hardly wait to see what you do with the project. I just want to give you the finished measurements on this. We are looking at about 11 inches across the base, 5.5 inches tall, and 5 inches deep. And the handle drop on that was about 9 inches. If you need to wear a coat in the winter or need a little extra room there in the arm, go ahead and increase the length of the handles. I want to thank you all for sewing with me. It was such a pleasure. I'm really excited when I get to introduce you to a brand new design. This is completely my own design. Those of you that are following me behind the scenes know we were sketching out this prototype a few weeks ago. I did change the measurements some, and so I will include all those pattern measurements for you down in the notes. If you are interested in learning more about my personal design process, which I believe is somewhat unique, I'd like to invite you to participate in my upcoming masterclass. This will be the 6th session of this masterclass. We always have a ton of fun. We will be designing a much larger travel duffel bag that has 3 separate interior compartments. You will also have the option to design your own custom piece if you like. In every single session of AMC, everyone's projects always blow me away, and they're always completely different. So if you want to make some new friends and be inspired, you are welcome to join us. It is a patron-only exclusive offer. You can get in at the $5 level if there's still seats available, or at the $10 level. So I will put the link to my Patreon page down in the notes as well if you're interested. Otherwise, I will see everybody next Tuesday for a really fun project using belts. Until then, as always, the creative genius in me will be celebrating the creative genius in you. Have a beautiful week, everyone.